Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, the goal of which is to perform operations with mixed numbers. So I want you to be able to add, subtract, multiply, and divide mixed numbers. But before we get to that, we have to look at converting between mixed numbers and improper fractions. So this here is a mixed number because it has a whole number or integer part and a fraction. So it's part integer, part fraction. This is an improper fraction. Improper fractions have a higher numerator than denominator. The number on the top is bigger than the number on the bottom. But these two numbers are both the same. They're both equal to 4.4 and have the same value. See, mixed numbers are usually easier to understand. So that's how we're going to want to write our answer as a mixed number. But when we're performing operations with mixed numbers, sometimes we have to convert them to improper fractions in order to be able to perform the operation. So that's why we're going to go through how we convert between the two. So if you want to convert a mixed number to an improper fraction, you multiply the integer, which is the whole number part, by the denominator and add the numerator. And you keep the denominators the same. So to go from 4 2/5 into an improper fraction, what you do is you times by this and then add this. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 2 is 22. That's how I got the numerator of 22, and we keep the denominators, the bottom numbers of the fraction, the same. On the other hand, if you want to go improper fraction to mixed number, you use division with remainder. The remainder is the numerator. So 22 divided by 5. This line here means divide. 22 divided by 5 is 4, remainder 2. So the 4 goes here, the remainder becomes the numerator, and once again, you keep the denominators the same. So we're going to need to use that when performing operations. So let's now look at adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So it turns out if you need to add or subtract mixed numbers, you can do it two ways. You can convert each of these to an improper fraction and then add them, or you can do the integer parts, the whole number parts, separately to the fraction parts. I'm going to use this second method here because I think it's easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 plus 2 is 5. So I've just added the integer parts. Now what I need to do is add the two fraction parts. So 2/5 plus 2/9. So remember, when adding fractions, denominators need to be the same. If not, you find the lowest common denominator. 5 and 9 denominators are different. So I need to times top and bottom here by 9. And the top and bottom of this fraction by 5. Why am I doing that? Because that will make this denominator 45. It will make this denominator 45. The reason I want both denominators 45, 45 is the lowest common multiple of 5 and 9. So now by doing this, the denominators will be the same, and then I can add the fractions. So if I multiply bottom by 9, I need to multiply the top by 9 to keep it an equivalent fraction. Similarly, if I multiply bottom by 5, I need to times the top by 5. So I'm going to leave this integer alone for now. So 2 times 9 is 18, 5 times 9 is 45. 2 over 5 is the same as 18 over 45. These two fractions are the same. So now I go 2 times 5 is 10. 9 times 5 is 45. 2/9 and 10 over 45 are the same. So now I get 18 over 45 plus 10 over 45, and that gives me 5 and 28 over 45. Remember, when you're adding fractions, you only add the numerators, you don't add the denominators. So that's my final answer, 5 and 28 over 45. Let's look at a subtraction. So 4 and 1/6 minus 2 and 8/9. Not an easy one to do. But we're going to do the integers separately. So 4 minus 2 is 2. So now we're going to do the fraction part, 1/6 minus 8 over 9. So we're adding a 6th and subtracting 8 over 9. So this part's positive, this part's negative. So once again, like we did up here, we need to make these two have the same denominator. The lowest common multiple of 6 and 9 is 18. So I times top by 3, top and bottom by 3 here. That will make this have a denominator of 18. And if I times top and bottom by 2, then this fraction will have a denominator of 18. The reason I'm timesing tops and bottoms here is so these two will have the same denominator. So I'm going to leave the whole number alone. 1 over 6 is the same as 3 over 18. 8 over 9 is the same as 16 over 18. So to do this, I'm going to make all of these have the same denominator. 2 is actually the same as 36 over 18. 36 over 18 is equal to 2. So now I go 36 plus 3 is 39, minus 16 gives me 23 over 18. And from the previous slide, we can convert that to a mixed number very easily. 23 divide 18 is equal to 1, remainder 5. So the answer is 1 and 5 over 18, and then we're done. So this is quite tricky. You can convert to improper fractions, but that is tricky as well. Let's now look at multiplying and dividing mixed numbers. So when you're multiplying or dividing mixed numbers, you must first convert them to improper fractions. We don't have a choice. We can't do the whole numbers and the fractions separately. So let's say I have 1 4/5 times 2 1/2. The only way I can do this, I need to convert this to an improper fraction and this to an improper fraction. So using what I said on the very first slide, to convert to an improper fraction, I times and then add. I times the whole number by the denominator and add the numerator. So 1 times 5 plus 4 is equal to 9. So 1 4/5 is 9 over 5. Here I keep the same denominator. Here I go 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 1/2 is the same as 5 over 2. Once again, denominator stays the same. So now I'm going to multiply together these two improper fractions. So now I can cancel the 5s. Because they have common factor, I'm just left with 9 over 2. So to convert back to an improper fraction, 9 divided by 2 is 4, remainder 1, and I keep the same denominator. All right, let's look at a division question. So let's do 3 3/8 divided by 2 1/4. So when we're dividing mixed numbers, we must convert each to an improper fraction. That's the only way we're going to do this. So we go 3 times 8, and then we add the top. So 3 times 8 is 24, plus 3 is 27. And we keep the same denominator. 2 1/4. So we times 2 by 4. Add the numerator. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 2 1/4 is 9 over 4. So the way we divide these two fractions now, you flip the second fraction and you make it a times. So remember, we can only add or subtract fractions if their denominators are equal, but we don't need that for multiplication division. Doesn't matter that these have different denominators, I can still multiply. So rather than doing 27 times 4 and 8 times 9, I'm going to cancel. So 27 and 9 share a common factor of 9. 9 goes into 27 3 times, 9 goes into 9 once. 4 goes into itself once, it goes into 8 twice. So I'm left with 3 over 2, because 3 times 1 is 3, 2 times 1 is 2, and as a mixed number, that's 1 1/2. 3 divided by 2 is 1, remainder 1, and then we're done. All right, thank you so much for tuning into this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.